Hey there everyone, today is another magical day, and by your popular request we are taking a look at every single one of my Disney pins in my entire collection. Now in today's video it's a 2020 update to my pin collection. Every single pin you see here, the two pin boards above which you barely ever get to see, the figment pin board, and other pin boards which are still kind of in the process of being put together because they're not fully complete yet. I'm going to be showing you every single one. It's every single pin, and in the meantime, as I'm showing you all of these, you'll be able to hear my thoughts about pin collections, what I like, my favorites, all that great stuff. Now I have done a pin video before. If you're looking for more details about what each pin means to me, where I got some of them, you can find that video right there at the I button, but today is a review of all of them. Let's jump in. I've been collecting pins now since I was, I think, about 6 or 7 years old, and I've got to tell you, I absolutely love collecting Disney pins. For me, it kind of harkens back to that original trip with my family. We'd go together, we'd think about pin trading. My mom would get some extra pins for us just in case. I actually remember more than once, we'd go to the parks, we'd each have maybe like 10 pins that we could trade, like all three of the kids. And we'd have 10 pins and we'd trade them all, and then we'd end up, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't traded this one. Like, I need to trade another one, but I don't want to get rid of the ones I have. And then mom would always have kind of like a backup set in her pocket, and she'd say, oh, here you go, she's got a couple extra pins for you to trade. Such great memories. I think about them all the time. Now you'll notice in my collection I have pins from all over, not just current pins, but some older pins as well. Pins you could never find today. I even have ones from Food Rocks and some original attractions which have been gone for years. So it's hard to imagine. Some of these pins I've been collecting for more than 20 years. Now you may notice that some of my pins have that cardboard back kind of still there, and others don't. The reason this is because when I buy a pin, when I purchase a pin, I keep the cardboard back with it. Even those that have the kind of standard solid black background. I've stopped doing that now, but in the past I would keep them, and I kind of left it there just kind of for memento. If I'll trade a pin, let's say I'm walking around the cruise ship for officers pin trading, or around Epcot and I see a cast member with a pin, they don't have any cardboard backing on them, so I will not have the cardboard, obviously, and I'll put the pin right on the pin board right there. Many friends have told me about some of their ordering, of how they put the pins together by size, or by park, or by character, or by attraction. There are a lot of different ways to order your pins, but the way I do it is just by collecting day by day. So the more recent ones are the ones later in the video, the older ones are the ones that you're seeing at the very beginning of the video. So you're kind of traveling in time with me. I haven't really moved the order around at all because I want to remember those points in time. And if you look at some of the pin boards, especially kind of the third and fourth pin board, you'll notice that you can actually see my trips, 2016, 2017, 2018, and some of the backs there with them are right there. It's really, really cool to see. Now I have no doubt that some of the pins on my boards are in fact scrapper pins, meaning they're not official Disney pins. I may have traded for one that looked great to me and it's not an official pin. If you're looking to learn more about scrapper pins, I will link them to this video, but to me it really comes down to what you like. I love the pins on my pin board. I don't really care about, it's authentic, it's not, they look great, they're Disney, I love them. For me, that's where it comes from. You may have noticed that some of my collections are incomplete, so I have some that have 2014, 2015, the years on them, and the 4 different parks, but I only have 3 of the parks. It means I was looking for the 4th one but could not find it. That's what it means, which is really cool because it goes to show that over time you try and find them and sometimes you can't. And kind of on that note, sometimes I'd forget about some of the collections that I have, and you can see duplicates on some of the boards, which I never bothered to correct. I was just saying to myself, you know what, this was fun in the moment, reminds me of the trip, I'm gonna put it on the pin board, and I kind of kept it that way. There are some extremely rare pins on my pin board. Some of them are actually cast member exclusive pins. You're wondering, Michael, where'd you get those? Some of them have stories from cast members who sent them to me, which I really appreciate. I even have a cast member shirt, which I love, with Figment and the Dreamfinder. And other times, sometimes I'll find them kind of on cast members' lanyards for trading. Every so often I'll find them there as well. Some of my favorite pins are associated with memories. Of course, I have one that says Best Brother from my brother and sister. I love that pin. I also have a lot of pins that kind of have special things that can never be found again at Walt Disney World. Food Rocks is another good example of that. And there are some pins that are specific for a time of year, for example, like Halloween party or Christmas party, and that specific year on them. Really enjoy those. this. Now, one of the big advantages of putting them up on the pin board like this is that you can see them really easily, and they're great for display. I love having them behind me when I'm making videos, a lot of fun. But the downside is you can't really move them once you put them in the pin board because the cork doesn't hold once you remove them. I actually had an older pin board. It was much smaller, and I kind of would, move them around all the time to change the order. That was before I had them in date order. And when I did this, I ended up kind of moving the cork too much, and it would get weak and it would not hold the pins anymore. So every so often in some of these pin boards, you'll see that there's a pin missing. And there's only, I think, 2 pins missing at the moment, which I still have not found. I'm not sure where they are. I kept the spaces blank just to indicate that I'm still missing 2 right there on the pin boards. But if you get pin boards, make sure you don't move them around. Choose the style that you like and keep them in the same spot so they don't fall off the pin board as you're kind of putting them on display. For those with a sharp eye, you may be able to see some pins that are actually not official Disney pins. There are a couple on there. There's one from Maryland, my original home state, and there are others from other Disney creators. I've got DSNY's pins on there from Jack, and one from Rob and Christine from TTA Podcast, and a few others from friends that look like Disney pins, and I put on the board because I feel like that's associated with Disney memories for me. There's no right or wrong way to collect pins, but you'll notice a few of them are not official. Now, if you're looking for a specific theme, you can see that some of my interests have changed over the years. It's gone from maybe like a Hercules, to a Villains, to a Mickey, to a Figment, to Violymation, to different times of year, and now it's just all over the place. Anything that just kind of catches my eye that I like, I will collect. That's kind of how I see it right now. If I like the pin, I will put it on the pin board. Many of the pins you see today were sent by extremely kind and generous friends. And those count for me. Those go on the pin board just as well, just because I really, really appreciate those extremely, extremely kind gifts from friends. I get to remember great memories, or maybe look forward to something in the future, like a park I've never been to before. I've got pins from there, from Mystic Manor, for example. I've never been to Mystic Manor, but having the pin reminds me that I've got to go in the future. I look at them all the time. The pin collection is continuously evolving. You can see from all the different pins that I have, and even boards that are still in the works right now. I think so at this point I have 5 completed pin boards, a Figment pin board which only gets very special Figment pins, 1 standard pin board in the making, and 1 super large pin board which gets loose pins that I find and trade at the parks or on board. And that is the 2020 update to my Disney pin collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you saw a pin in my collection that you have in yours. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, or your favorite thing about pin trading. Let me know, I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me today. Until next time, have a magical day.